Welcome to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, hosted by Andrew Duncan, the official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning. As Tampa Bay's top-selling real estate team with over $3 billion in sales and thousands of homes closed, sell your home with ease, guaranteed in 14 days or they'll buy it. Visit theduncanduo.com. Here's your host, Andrew Duncan.
Happy Sunday, Tampa Bay. Back for another week talking all things real estate in Tampa Bay. I want to send a quick shout out to my friends at the Tampa Bay Lightning and Benchmark International Arena for their wonderful hospitality. Last week, we had our annual appreciation event at the arena. We had several hundred of our past clients, friends, family members, and team members at the arena. Had a great time. It was a little bit different this year. This is the first year we didn't have the actual ice because we planned the event around having the ice, but it was expected that the Lightning would go further in the playoffs and did not, so we had to kind of pivot. And our clients actually got to do locker room tours, which I thought was really cool. Just a neat experience overall to kind of walk through the locker room and kind of envision and see and kind of hear the history from the player side as well as some of the concerts and different things that happen in the arena kind of behind the scenes. We had a bunch of like street hockey. We had a bounce house. We had, basketball, baseball pitching, football throwing for the kids. And it was overall just an exceptional event. Was super grateful to share the event with a lot of our favorite people, with our past clients, friends, and family. So thank you to the Lightning for over 10 years. I think we're bouncing off of 12 or 13 years now of partnership with my real estate team. So it's been a wonderful ride, and they did a great job hosting all of our people. So from the start today, I want to talk about the Tampa real estate statistics. Now, it's interesting because I've talked about this on the show a lot. If you're a regular listener, there is this dynamic going on right now within real estate where our real estate market, as well as the real estate market nationally, as well as segments of our local real estate market, are not performing the same. So I want to start with this understanding that real estate is hyper-local. So when you hear statistics from CNN, CNBC, Fox News, they're skewed on a national level. They may say housing starts are down, or pending sales are up, or pending sales are down. That doesn't necessarily translate to a local market. Like I heard things like, prices were depressed and, the market was, struggling to turn the corner. And that's actually not what the statistics say is happening here in Tampa Bay. So when you do see, people on the news or Case-Shiller data or national real estate stats, it can be very misleading. It would be similar to saying it's raining in the United States of America today. It's clearly not raining everywhere. It's raining in part of the country, and that's the same thing with the stats. You have to go really, really local to understand what's going on. And if you want to know exactly what's going on in your neighborhood, the only way to do that I can recommend is go to DuncanDuo.com. You can give us your address, and it actually gives you a snapshot of what's going on in your neighborhood. You get a home value estimate. You can actually request from our dashboard a cash offer, communicate with our agents, set an appointment, add upgrades to your house so our automated valuation system can improve the value of your home. A much more interactive version that I think exists publicly online, but you can do that again at DuncanDuo.com. If you're the nosy neighbor, you want to know if one of your neighbors is in foreclosure, if you want to know what they sold their house for, you can do all of that. And then you can get a snapshot of what's actually happening in your neighborhood. Is your neighborhood appreciating? Is it depreciating? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? The data is there for you. We use a lot of different data sources as well as AI to blend and give you what we think is the most accurate home value estimate in Tampa Bay. Again, you can do that at DuncanDuo.com. So let me talk about the Tampa stats. And again, I want to preface this by saying what I just said a minute ago, that, just like the national stats don't cover everyone, the Tampa stats don't either. So when I talk about this, your neighborhood, it something completely different may be happening. Your neighborhood may be doing great, or it may not be doing great. So, when I talk about these stats, don't take them, take them with a grain of salt. Don't take them as pure fact that that's exactly what's happening in your neighborhood. It's what's happening in the market overall, blended across millions of people and, lots of homes, and to come up with the figures that we're seeing as trends. So the first trend I want to talk about is we had 4,889 home sales in our market in May. That compares to 4,571 last year. That's an increase of about 7%. So year over year, a 7% increase in the number of home sales. Now, this is despite still having really high interest rates comparatively to what we had maybe 5 years ago. Historically, though, our interest rates are actually pretty normal. We just are comparing them to this historically low time during COVID when money was being printed and rates were drastically low. So now we're seeing an increase in home sales. The next thing that I want to share with you is our average sale price of $509,951. To put this into perspective, last year in May, our average sale price was $482,953. Now, that's an increase of a little less than 6%. Okay, so we're seeing year over year appreciation that is outpacing inflation. Okay, because 6% is a higher figure than what the stats tell us inflation is, and we're seeing a 7% year over year increase in home sales. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the state of the market. For the first time in 6 months, we saw our average days on market dip below 80. Okay, that means demand is strong. Okay, demand is strong for Tampa Bay, despite still what many people perceive as higher rates, and despite maybe what's happening in other parts of the country where the real estate market isn't performing as well. We're also at 3.97 months supply of inventory. To put that into perspective, the last time we had below 4 months of inventory was July of 2024, so almost 2 years ago. Below 4 months of inventory is a balanced seller's market. So it's definitely tilted in favor of the sellers. We're starting to see, bidding war type situations. We're starting to see, homes that are priced well, moving fast in certain neighborhoods. Then there are neighborhoods in Tampa Bay that aren't performing as well. So I want to break that down for you and give you kind of an idea of the segments and properties that aren't performing as well, and then ones that are performing even better. The first segment of the market not performing well is going to be, condos and townhomes. So condos and townhomes are performing worse than single family homes, and more so condos. Townhomes are closer to single family homes, but single family homes are outperforming as far as an asset class. The condos drastically, and slightly the townhomes. So single family homes performing better. Homes being sold in communities that are newer, where builders are still building or builders are still building close by, are struggling. They're struggling because those builders have deeper pockets, can sell homes today for less than they were a year or two ago, and offer incentives that the regular homeowner can't offer. So a lot of our customers that bought 21, 22, 23, and are in a community where that is still being built, there's many of those that are not in an equity position, that are negative, and either need to do a short sale to sell, or they have to wait until the market recovers because the market isn't supporting and it won't appraise, and buyers aren't going to buy their $300,000 house for $350,000 when they can go down the street, buy it from the builder and better incentives, because the builders are offering incredible incentives. They're offering interest rate buy downs, free upgrades, aggressive pricing, because they need to move inventory. They're more motivated than you, and they have more resources than you, the individual homeowner. So you have to compete with that. So your price has to be very aggressive, and you've got to consider offering some of those same incentives. Other areas that are struggling, to perform. I mentioned, multifamily, for example, some of the areas that are not considered luxury, but are in, commonly flooded areas, okay, that are not luxury homes. So the $500,000 and $600,000 and $700,000 houses, don't consider those luxury in areas close to the beach and close to the water. Some of those are struggling because the insurance costs, the fear of a storm, especially someone that's buying on a budget. Now, where is the market really outperforming? Luxury. Okay, we just saw a statistic not long ago that said over a 3 or 4 month period that Tampa Bay's luxury homes increased by 17% in their average sale price. That means we're seeing higher priced homes, more wealthy people moving here because of some of the tax policies in New York and California and some of the other states, as well as people expediting their retirement, people liking our politics, people liking the fact that we don't have state income tax. All of these things are driving people here. And what's happening, especially, in areas like Tampa and Miami, is you have a lot of these people from California that are bringing their companies here. And then that's moving people behind them. That's moving the executives that can work from home. That's moving the owners and the entrepreneurs that travel all over the country anyway and don't sit in an office every day. It's those people are moving because of some of the tax policies and the wealth tax policies being discussed in many states. So, those are areas where the market is outperforming. You also got the typical hot spots. South Tampa is doing incredibly well. Luxury, when I talk about the waterfront, like I said, the kind of the entry level waterfront stuff, not doing as great or close to the water. The higher end waterfront stuff doing incredibly well. Golf course communities doing incredibly well. And then of course, homes below 500 aren't performing as well as homes above $1 million, for example, in some segments. And that's simply because of the interest rate. The person buying $1 million or $2 million or even $3 million home isn't as interest rate conscious as the person buying the 500. So that's kind of the overall take on the market right now. It is looking pretty optimistic. The Federal Reserve met and had their meeting this week and indicated that we're not going to see a drop in interest rates anytime soon. So if you've been waiting on that, you're going to keep waiting for a while. It's not happening anytime soon. And if we continue on this path towards, getting people relocating here, they're okay with the rates that they're paying cash, and we have lower inventory than we've had, and we have lower month supply inventory. We're pushing forward on increase in home sales, pushing forward on increase in sales price. That savings that you think that you're going to save by waiting until the market corrects, or not until the market corrects, until interest rates improve, you're going to wait a long time and the prices are going to go up more than what you think you're going to save in interest rates. So if you can't afford a home right now, I strongly recommend it. I have multiple high net worth clients this week call me and say, hey, I want to sell. I want to buy. I don't want to sell. I want to buy more property because I see what's coming and I think it's a safe place to buy an investment property and invest in the upper end of the market right now because of what's going to come a year and two down the line. Because if we are seeing, if we're seeing housing improve right now with interest rates where they are, we've got property tax legislation that's coming that's going to very likely improve our prices and move people here. And a lot of people are a lot more bullish now that eventually we're going to see some interest rate cuts. Probably not this year. Maybe one this year. I think it probably pushes into 27 now, but I believe they're going to run it hot, and I believe we're going to get interest rate cuts. And I think a lot of people are wanting to position ahead of both the change in property taxes and the potential interest rate cuts because we know people buy on payment. When payments drop, prices rise. So if you wait for interest rates to drop, you're not going to save anything because prices are going to go up faster and you're going to pay more for the house. So that's my take on it for people waiting on the sideline. That's my analysis of what's going on in the Tampa Bay real estate market right now. And again, if you want to know what's going on in your neighborhood, just head over to DuncanDuo.com. Again, that's DuncanDuo.com. We're going to be back after a quick break here on WFLA News.
back to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, the official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Top team in Tampa Bay, over $3 billion sold and counting. Now your host, Andrew Duncan.
We're back talking Tampa real estate statistics. Spoke in the first segment about all things Tampa real estate stats. Gave you an update on what's going on in the market, how hot the luxury market is, how not hot the condo market is, as well as some briefings on the stats. But things are looking very optimistic in Tampa Bay based on the most recent real estate statistics. But like I mentioned, there's multiple segments of our market right now. You've got segments that are performing well and segments that aren't. And for the segments of the market not performing well, I want to talk to you about people out there that are struggling to make their payment or they're looking at potential foreclosure. I have done hundreds of short sales in my real estate company's career. We have agents that are super experienced at it. We have great negotiators. We have great recommendations for attorneys for you to talk to. If you're struggling to make your payment and you want to avoid foreclosure, because foreclosure typically is going to be worse on your credit than doing a short sale. It's going to be reported worse. It's going to be longer for you to recover, and you're going to have less ability to pre-negotiate some of those recording terms and some of the potential savings or wiping out or not wiping out of debt. So if you're struggling to make your payment, please go to duncanduo.com. You can set an appointment with one of our agents. You can live chat with our team. You can live chat with our AI. We would love the opportunity to have a conversation with you about how we can help you. Our services, if you attempt to short sell your house, are free to you. The bank pays our fee. So we are at no cost to you. We seek our fee from the bank when we get an offer on your house. Your house can be sold short of what you owe. There will likely be credit damage, okay? But less credit damage than if you can't turn it around and you go all the way to foreclosure. There are a lot of people we're finding right now are in new construction communities that bought, 21, 22, 23, 24 in that time frame and now have to move. They're getting relocated. They lost their job. They got divorced. And when they look at, what they could sell it for, it's worth less than what they owe. There are segments of the market experiencing that right now. There's also a lot of people in condos that are experiencing that right now. If that's you, we have a lifeline to help you. We've done hundreds of them. We've got a considerable amount of experience. If you or someone is in that tough spot and you need some help to avoid foreclosure, a short sale, again, gives you more options. It gives you a faster recovery. There are people that we helped to do a short sale back in the day, and a few years later, we're buying a home again. We had one that we helped way back in the day, short sell a $60,000 condo, and he very recently bought a $3 million house, okay? He went through some struggles, and then he recovered, okay? So we can help you get there. We can help you get it done. And again, our services are at no cost to you. Nothing out of pocket for us. Our fees are paid for by the bank. Same with the other agent. The fees are covered by the bank. And let me explain this, because banks don't want to foreclose on you. That is a legal process that costs them more money. If you wait too long and they've already hired the lawyers and they've already pursued down that path of foreclosure, it becomes harder and they become more committed to potentially foreclosing because they've already eaten that money. You don't want to wait until it's too late. If you're behind on your mortgage and they haven't filed for foreclosure, you're in a better space to do a short sale. If they have filed for foreclosure, don't wait any longer. The quicker that you can get that done with hiring someone to put the home on the market, the quicker the bank can put the attorney at ease and pull back on the legal process and allow you to attempt to do a short sale and preserve protect your credit better than going all the way to foreclosure. A short sale, however, is not quick. This is not going to be a solution that's going to get over in a matter of weeks. It's a negotiation process. You're going to have to provide financial documents. We're going to have to negotiate with the bank. We're going to have to play their games. Banks are not quick with answering short sales. If you're an agent or a buyer that looks at homes and you see a short sale being advertised, unless it's explicitly advertised as an approved by the bank short sale price to get the bank the net number that they have approved, it's going to take a while, months. I've had some of them take 6 months. It's going to take a while. But again, the foreclosure can take years with or a judicial foreclosure state like ours. And that's years that your credit doesn't have a chance to recover because they continue reporting late payment after late payment after late payment, and then eventually the full foreclosure, and they exit you from the house. So short sale, way better path to go. And if you need help with that, we would love to help. If you're struggling, we can help you put the package together. We can help you find the buyer and then go through the process. Oftentimes, the first buyer that goes under contract isn't the buyer that buys it, because we need the first buyer to get an offer in so the bank can tell us a number. So there's a strategy that goes along with it, and a lot of agents aren't experienced at how aggressive that you have to be in pricing a short sale and negotiating with the banks. And again, it's something we've done hundreds of times. You can see gobs of reviews for us online about how we've helped people avoid foreclosure, video testimonials of people that we've helped. So if that is you, again, please go to duncanduo.com. We, again, would love to help you. We know it's a struggling time. We know it's a challenge. Our goal is to help you preserve what you can so that you can get back on your feet and rebuild and get it done as quickly as we possibly can. So we're going to be back after a quick break, continuing our conversation about the Tampa Bay real estate market here on the Duncan Duo Show.
And we're back with the Duncan Duo Radio Show, Tampa Bay's #1 real estate team. Over $3 billion in sales, thousands of happy clients, and official partners of the Lightning. Now your host, Andrew Duncan.
Back here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show, talking Tampa Bay real estate stats and information. If you are a real estate agent, we are hiring. Throughout my 22-year career in real estate, I've never been more excited for real estate agents that are tech savvy and want to move forward and advance their career than I am right now. Simply because of the advancements with AI, the real estate game is massively changing. So if you're somewhere and you're not closing enough business, whether you're at a brokerage as an individual agent, whether you're on a team, whether you're thinking about getting into the real estate business, my company is investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into some of the most advanced technology with AI to enable us the ability to communicate with more people and allow our agents to get more appointments set, work with more leads, more leverage, more assistance, and more support. It's why my agents year over year massively outproduce the averages from the National Association of Realtors. Every year we have gobs of agents making $100,000 a year. I've helped agents become multimillionaires, and we want that opportunity for you. So if you're struggling where you are, you might need a change of location. You might need somebody that's looking at the new technology and this kind of new age that we're in with AI that is using tools like a massive database, like massive investments in advertising, and we are hiring. So whether that's you, whether you know a real estate agent that maybe has to work another job because they're not making the money that they want to make, but they're committed. If they're committed and they're coachable, we have amazing opportunities on our team right now. We are producing more leads than we can keep up with, and our agents are literally asking us to hire more agents. That's how busy they are. They want to give the best service possible. So do we. So it lets us know we need more salespeople on our team. So if that's you, if you're interested, you can go to jointheduo.com. You can share that with a friend or family member that's in real estate that maybe isn't producing at the level that they want. And again, you can do that at jointheduo.com. Here's some of my requirements. Somebody needs to be a hard worker. They need to be coachable. Okay. Nothing in our organization is the accountability that we hold agents to is something they self-select. They determine their own goals and we help them accomplish that. I have agents that want to sell 50 homes a year or 100 homes a year, and I have agents that want to do 12. We want to find your ideal definition of success and then deliver the number of opportunities it will take for you to get there. The second thing is we have wonderful mentoring. We have great coaches in our organization that can help you get into production and help you improve. So you have to be coachable. So a hard worker, you've got to be coachable. Those are really kind of the two things. And you've got to be a good team player. You got to be able to get along well with others. We have wonderful culture on our team. Everybody loves coming to the office. Everybody loves working together. And so if that is you, or if someone you know wants to be around that culture, join theduo.com. If you've done maybe only a handful of transactions in a year, but you know how to do a transaction, I promise you, you're just not getting enough leads and opportunities. We have the leads and opportunities. If maybe you're hitting a ceiling where you are doing a lot of business, but you're managing all these processes and systems, you're doing the deals, you're going to the inspections, you're doing the appraisals, you're renegotiating everything. We have staff that takes it off your plate. No different than a large law firm that has a lot of paralegals that help the lawyers. We have staff. We have virtual staff. We have in-house licensed transaction coordinator staff. We have leadership. We have all these different tools and systems that are meant to take the burden off of the real estate agent to allow them to focus on what they do best, which is selling real estate and helping their customers. We do appreciation events. We get our clients and agents get free tickets to Lightning games all the time. We just had our event at the arena. And, I see oftentimes agents that stay on their own because they like getting 100% of the commission, and then they close 4 deals in a year. 100% of 4 deals is not even close to what you'd make if you jumped onto my team, were coachable, and ran with the leads that we're going to provide you. There are too many agents out there that are letting their ego of being on their own get in the way of success. The best way to grow a successful real estate practice, if that's not you right now, is to join one that's been massively successful for 22 years, for a few years, learn from it, and then go do your own thing. Again, I've got, if you look at the top 100 real estate agents in Tampa, there's a bunch of them that worked for me. And the reality is there's no way to create that on your own. You will learn so much in my organization, and we would be happy to have you. So again, you can do that at jointheduo.com. Again, that is jointheduo.com. When we aren't on air, please make sure to follow us on all of our socials at The Duncan Duo, X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, pretty much every single social media out there. Again, at The Duncan Duo when we aren't on air. We also put, videos from the show up on our YouTube channel, again, also at The Duncan Duo. I want to talk about new construction next. So, I saw, I'm trying to remember where I saw it. I follow the stock market a lot, so I see a lot of releases about real estate through some of the, news organizations that cover the stock market. And I saw something that was relatively negative this week about new housing starts and how new construction was kind of down across the country. And, I thought to myself, that doesn't align with what I'm seeing every day in Tampa. And comparable to, kind of what I said before is how Tampa will buck the trend and will buck some of the national statistics. Another reason I know that is my girlfriend Jessica works for a new home construction builder. So I hear the feedback from her and the activity and the things that are going on and the new communities that, Casa Fresca's building and West Bay Homes are building. I hear all the growth in new construction here. And when I hear things like, oh, new construction is doing really bad, I think to myself, that's not happening in Tampa Bay. So as I was reading through some news articles this week, I saw Consumer Affairs ranked the Tampa Metro 11th out of 150 large cities for new building permits and new construction home sales. Based on early 2026 data, this adds a meaningful supply, especially in the suburbs. So new construction here is booming. It's booming because the builders continue to have a runway of land. If you look in our suburbs, there's still, you can drive to Dade City or Wesley Chapel or Lutz, Odessa, Apollo Beach, Pasco County, Trinity. You can see vacant land. We have vacant land to develop. There's vacant land being bought. There's builders that are calling us and wanting to buy huge tracts of land. So because of that, our new construction community continues to grow. And the reason it has to continue growing is because we continue having people want to move here, move their families here. Another reason why our new construction market does well is because it's away from some of the more trafficky areas. It's also generally not going to be in flood zones. Generally, new construction is going to have lower insurance and lower taxes, at least prematurely, because a lot of times a new construction home is taxed on land value for the first year. So new construction is really hot in Florida because of those things. If you look at how expensive insurance has gotten in our state, when a buyer compares a resale property that's maybe built, 10 years ago and what they're going to pay on insurance versus the savings of buying a new construction home that has all the new construction standards and, all the hurricane-proof things. It insures at a lower dollar amount. So buyers in a rate-sensitive environment are flocking to new construction because, again, the builder's likely going to be buying the rate down. The insurance and taxes are going to be cheaper because the insurance is going to, give it discounts because of the higher construction quality standards that are required for new construction today than were required a decade or so ago. And then, of course, that lower first year in taxes. So that payment, that initial payment for that borrower in a lot of cases is going to be lower than what it would be in a resale type property. Plus, a new home warranty that's going to cover things for a certain period of time where you don't get that with a resale. So our new construction market is going great. And I think new construction for home buyers is the right option for a lot of them. We've helped thousands of people buy new construction homes over my 22-year history in real estate. And, it's often one of the recommendations we make when a customer comes in and they want to be in an area, or they're looking they're looking really more payment driven, or they're a first time home buyer and they don't want to deal with maintenance and, mowing the lawns and, all of these things that sometimes the HOA, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't with the lawn work. But nonetheless, they're looking for more of a turnkey, less maintenance, not as many hassles opportunity. And so new construction provides that, as well as the rate buy downs that get the payment more comfortable for a couple of year period. Now, the hope is that everyone out there buying these rates down, that gets a rate buy down, gets to refinance in a few years if rates get cut. There were a lot of those people that bought in 24, okay, that did 2 years. They did a 2-year buy down, and now their rates are on the verge of pumping back up. That's what you have to be concerned about. Of course, I do think there's a really good chance in 2 years rates are down, but when you take that rate buy down, you've got to understand that is temporary. It is temporary, and it is biting some people right now that did it in 24. Now we're starting to see, my rate and payment is now going up. My buy down is over, and rates did not drop like everyone promised that they would. So again, do I think rates will drop? Yes. Did I think rates would be dropped by now this year? Yeah, I did. But you can't really predict the, Iran war and the increase in some of the expenses associated with that with the oil and gas. So when you're buying the rate down or doing an adjustable mortgage, there's a risk associated with that. So you've got to be careful. But new construction still remains one of the best options for a lot of Tampa Bay home buyers. And what I'll tell you is if you're working with an agent, make sure you protect your agent too. As much as I love learning about new construction and having, my girlfriend in the business, I also learned that the builder is representing the builder, the owner of the property. The agent that you bring to the table, the builder isn't going to change their price whether you have an agent or not. It's just not going to happen. You have an agent to help protect you, to negotiate things and credits and ensure the builder's doing and holding them accountable to do what they're supposed to do in your best interest, not in the builder's best interest. So if you haven't looked at new construction, but you've been examining it, have your agent take you out to some communities outside of maybe the area you've looked at and measure the cost savings difference and the benefits of having new construction. Our team would love to help you with that. I have many new construction specialists. Again, you can call or text us at 813-359-8990. Again, that's 813-359-8990. You can go search for homes at theduncanduo.com. You can set an appointment with one of our agents to take you on tours of new construction homes that fit the criteria that you're looking for. But the reality is, be careful with the rate buy down, and then also make sure you have your own agent to negotiate against the builder so that certain things don't get decided in the favor of the builder, because that's who the builder's agents represent. The builder's representatives represent the builder. They don't represent you. So having an agent as your buffer is that extra level of experience to navigate through those processes. But I strongly recommend new construction. We've got some great agents, very experienced at it. And you can learn more about my team or set an appointment with one of those agents, again, at theduncanduo.com. And like I mentioned before, if you want to stay up to date on what's happening in Tampa Bay real estate, just follow us on our socials at The Duncan Duo. That's YouTube, that's X, that's Twitter. X and Twitter are the same. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, any of those at the Duncan Duo. And we'll be back. We're going to continue this conversation with our last segment after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show.
Back to the Duncan Duo Radio Show, hosted by Andrew Duncan, official real estate agents of the Tampa Bay Lightning and the team that guarantees your home sells with ease. Visit theduncanduo.com right now. Here's Andrew Duncan.
Talking Tampa real estate here, and the last segment I want to talk about is realtor safety. It's interesting because in the 22 years I've been doing this, I've had multiple agents feel unsafe with a client. I've had agents call the police on a prospective client. We found out that prospective clients had long criminal histories. And we had an interesting situation this week with a customer who failed to understand the importance of this. Now, if you pay attention to real estate news at all, there have been real estate agents in multiple states that have been murdered by someone that posed as a client, that have been raped, assaulted, kidnapped, all of these things in vacant homes where the setup was, come show me this house. I'm interested in this house, right? So as a customer of a real estate agent, if you're inquiring about setting an appointment to look at a house, please understand that no home sale and your business is not more important than risking their life. When they ask you certain questions for information to provide, of course, it's certainly about validating their time and making sure it's worth it, but it's also about validating their safety. It's about making sure that you are who you say you are, that you're not some crazy criminal, that you don't have bad intentions. So real estate agents now, when we regularly use these tools, have the ability to do kind of some soft background checking based on your phone number and your name to help them prepare themselves for what they're getting into. Is this person out on bail? Has this person previously murdered or assaulted someone? And so that gives us the ability to have a little bit of insight into who we're potentially going to meet at a property on a Friday night at 8 o'clock. The next part of that is your resistance to giving information. You have to understand real estate agents are not on salary, okay? They don't draw any salary. They're not making any money if they don't sell a house, okay? They're driving to meet you. They need to have at least some understanding of, one, that you're not a psychopath, and two, that you have the ability to purchase what you're looking to buy. One of the main reasons why agents ask for pre-quals is just as much about ensuring that you've provided your relevant information to another person. In all of the situations where really bad things have happened to real estate agents, they didn't get a pre-qual from the customer, okay? They took the customer at their word. So the pre-qual is a step to ensure if you've spoken to a lender, that means you've given your financial information, they have your ID, they know who you are. There's a paper trail associated that makes it much less likely for you to go and kidnap and murder them, okay? So the pre-qual, of course, is about managing and valuing their time. It's also about managing and valuing their life and making sure that you are who you say you are. Similarly, asking for your identification, okay? I understand that maybe there's a lot of states where you don't even have to give an ID to vote, okay? I get it, right? You get offended that someone wants your ID that makes you think that maybe they don't believe that you say who you say you are. However, in the real estate game, okay, the reality is if we don't get your ID, we don't know if you're really who you say you are. And the likelihood of you giving us your ID and then it getting logged in a system and it's legitimate and you actually doing some sort of crime is highly improbable. It's highly unlikely. Those two steps, in addition to some of the pre-screening that real estate agents do, are meant to protect the life and the safety of the real estate agent because of some of these things that happen. And look, I see dudes do this all the time too. I see, an attractive, female real estate agent. And look, it's funny. This doesn't happen with on the other side of this. So I'm not being sexist. I'm telling you statistically, mathematically, through 22 years of history, this happens with females that are attractive, the dudes that think the female is attractive, and they're trying to use this ploy of being interested in a home as a way to hit on them or ask them out. Please stop, okay? Please stop. and don't like try and use that and not give them information and want to meet them out somewhere. Like, be legitimate, okay? If you really want to ask a real estate agent out, just ask her. Don't use this ploy of let me go look at this house so I can, hit on you, okay? But again, the pre-qual and a driver's license, in addition to not wanting to get themselves murdered, they're making sure their time is valuable. They don't get paid for driving out and an hour from their home to show you this home on Friday night at 8:00. They're spending time away from their family, from their spouse, from the things that they want to do. They're taking a risk, and they want to take a calculated risk. They want to do a little bit of due diligence. They want to know you're legitimate. They want to know you have serious interest in the property. So don't be offended when they ask these questions, okay? They're asking them because you have to put your ego aside and understand these real estate agents are asking this because they want to make sure to go home to their family that night. If you can't give your ID or provide a pre-qualification or a proof of funds that show you have the ability to purchase, that's a red flag to the real estate agent that's worried about their safety, okay? So again, there are, thousands of customers that we work with, or hundreds of homes that we close every single year. This is just a kind of basic common thing that we're going to ask of them. And if they can't provide that, it makes us suspicious. And yeah, maybe we lose a sale or two here or there, but the reality is I would rather my agents lose a sale or two here or there and make it home to their family than have them be very cavalier and just pop out and show you a home whenever you want without verifying anything about you, and then something bad happen to them. So the next time you want to get upset at a real estate agent because they ask you for your ID or for some financial information or to meet you at a neutral location, it's not about you, okay? So lose the ego, let go of the personal angst that you might have, and understand it's about them protecting their life. So hopefully that makes sense. We obviously love protecting realtors, making them successful, helping them improve their careers, but also making sure they get to go home to their families. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Have an awesome rest of your weekend, Tampa Bay, and thanks for tuning in.